An organization representing mining communities, the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, or MACUA, has filed an urgent application for direct access to the Constitutional Court. MACUA's appeal to the Constitutional Court comes after the Gauteng Division of the High Court in Pretoria dismissed its application on the 20th of December to compel the state to uphold its constitutional obligations to protect and save the lives of the trapped miners in Stilfontein, Northwest. So far, more than 1,500 illegal miners have resurfaced from shafts in Stilfontein, and several others have been helped by local community members using a rope, while the police's Operation Vala Umgodi closed the hole, which is aimed at combating illegal mining, continues. For more on this matter, we're now joined virtually by the National Administrator of the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, Sabelo Mnguni. Mr. Mnguni, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Mnguni, and good morning to the viewers at home. Morning.
First of all,
thank you for having us.
Indeed, it's an absolute pleasure having you. First of all, just give us some background as to why the Mining Affected Communities United in Action decided to approach the Constitutional Court.
No, thanks. So, when one remembers, we've been consistent in terms of raising the concern of saving lives at Stilfontein. So, when Operation Vala Umgodi is being implemented, it threatens the right to life. When we approached High Court in Pretoria, they dismissed our application, stating that the right to life, or rather, the state doesn't have a responsibility to save those who are trapped at Shaft 11. So it is a constitutional right for one to have a right to life first. Secondly, having access to humanitarian aid is also part of the constitutional right. So, as approaching the Constitutional Court, we believe it's because of the right to life is a constitutional right. As much as we are not we welcome and appreciate the efforts the state is doing in terms of combating crime in the country, to ensuring that there's law enforcement. When one enforces the law, it should not also negatively impact the other rights, particularly the basic rights. So the situation in Stilfontein has moved from a criminal situation or a crime situation. It's more of a humanitarian issue crisis at the moment where we're sitting. As we keep seeing some of the artisanal miners emerging in other shafts. So those who are emerging in other shafts, they are giving us an encouragement to say there are people who are still alive underground. So once we approached the High Court did also confirm that those who are at Shaft 11 are trapped. They need assistance. But it went silent as to who should take the responsibility. Stilfontein Gold Mine, they yet to receive a closure certificate. Therefore, the responsibility lies with them. The state has a responsibility of ensuring mining companies are held to account, ensuring that lives of South Africans, Africans generally, even South Africans, anyone who lives in South Africa, it is their responsibility to ensure their safety and life is preserved. Then the law should take course. After we retrieved everyone who's trapped at Shaft 11. Stilfontein, Harmony, Gold, the courts, MACUA and the community, all saying the same thing, says people are trapped. But then we are seeing the state dragging its feet in terms of bringing in professional rescue as per commitment.
Well, Sabelo, you've just made a very interesting observation that this situation has now moved from being a criminal activity to a humanitarian crisis. So why do you believe the High Court then made an error in dismissing the request for the government to provide humanitarian aid to the trapped illegal miners?
Thank you. So we believe that Honorable Judge didn't go through all the documents accordingly. There is some information maybe she overlooked. Obviously, we respect the decision, but we feel that the decision doesn't speak to what the Constitution is saying.
What information did she overlook? What information did she overlook?
Basically, one, as to the responsibility of preserving life. That responsibility lies with the state. the responsibility of ensuring everyone who's in South Africa, the basic rights are protected. Everyone has a right to access to health, irrespective of their nationalities, irrespective of their age, or whether they came into the country legally or illegally. Remember, still underground, we still have South Africans who are still underground. So their right to access to health is being infringed.
Well, my understanding is that the state is already discharging its responsibility, to retrieve the trapped miners there, because the efforts are still ongoing. So make me understand why you say the judge overlooked that aspect of the judgment.
The thing is, at the moment, the state is yet to bring in any assistance in terms of retrieving people. The community rescue operation, community volunteers, it is a volunteering system that is retrieving anyone. The state is yet to bring in a professional rescue team to ensure the prison.
All right, we seem to have completely lost Sabelo Mnguni, and his line is not the best. But this is Sabelo Mnguni. We're in conversation with. He's the National Administrator of the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, talking to us about the MACUA taking Stilfontein Mine crisis to the Constitutional Court. So many points that he's made, that he's making, basically saying that the court erred insofar as overlooking some of the issues when it comes to the state failing or apparently failing to discharge its responsibilities of protecting and saving and retrieving the trapped miners there in Stilfontein. And they're also advocating for the state to discharge its constitutional mandate and obligation to provide humanitarian aid and assistance and access, of course, to the trapped miners in Stilfontein. So we are still in conversation with him, and as soon as we get him on the line, we'll continue, to talk to him. And one point of interest is what role the mining affected communities or MACUA is playing in this specific case and in the broader mining crisis in South Africa. One of the issues, of course, is that whether they hope this will start or rather change the policy framework, especially in the mining sector in South Africa after this particular court case. And they've applied for direct access to the Constitutional Court, saying that the High Court in Pretoria failed them in terms of ensuring that the lives of the illegal and the trapped miners in Stilfontein are protected. And whether they hope to achieve with this legal case beyond rescuing the trapped miners, and maybe any broader reforms that they hope will be implemented after this particular case. And I do understand that Sabelo Mnguni is now back. Please do confirm if you can hear me now, Mr. Mnguni.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I can hear you clearly. And I want us to extend this conversation to, describing the conditions underground. And we do get reports that illegal miners at the Stilfontein Mine in Stilfontein are resorting to cannibalism. What have you heard in this regard?
No, thanks. So, at the moment, what we've been using a roping system. So in that roping system, we also use it as a form of communication. We communicate through letters. So the letter that we received on the 24th December, it indicated that people are so desperate to leave the shaft, to understand that one, they are using shaft 10 as an exit point. Shaft 10 is so dangerous that some of them they've already fallen. If one falls at shaft 10, they can't be retrieved. So the content that we are receiving via the letters, we believe what we get via the letters, because while we once received a letter that says they've got 8 bodies underground. So, and yes, we did retrieve 8 bodies underground. So through that communication system, anything that they're giving us, we take it into account. So far, we can say that situation is there underground. They're indicating that they've run out of food. And we last sent food on the 24th. So since the 24th till today, we are yet able to send food. And the system that we are using to pull people out and to send food has been disrupted by the groundwork that was building at Shaft 11 by the Stilfontein Gold Mine on Friday. Okay. So we're sitting with the situation where we need to first develop the system or reconstruct the system, then send humanitarian aid and see whom do we pull up. Maybe once we send a rope and put it back, we'll get an update as to of the situation over the weekend. Remember, we last communicated with them last Tuesday, so it's 7 days now since we get a proper communication, or also us sending a communication or food underground. So once we fixed the situation, but now the situation is worse. I think the agency has increased because of the community system.
Okay, Sabelo, unfortunately, we have to end the interview because we have to take news. But thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights with us about this particular matter. Well, that was Sabelo Mnguni, the National Administrator of the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, speaking to us about this organization taking the Stilfontein Mine crisis to the Constitutional Court.